people don't want to hear this, but a lot of the dogs that look like they're going to kill you, if they don't kill you in the first 5 seconds, they're done.
That's right. Yeah.
Because if a dog is scared of you, and people also don't want to hear that, the trigger stimulus for defense, whether it's active or avoidant, is always fear. Animals don't defend themselves unless they're afraid something bad will happen.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That's nature. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
So, and what makes a drive different than a motivation? When you talk about food, food's not a drive, food's a motivation, right? A drive allows you to predict the outcome. When a drive is activated, you know exactly what that animal is going to do. It's pre-programmed behavior chains that don't require shaping or clicking or reinforcing. They just happen. Right?
Right.
That's it. So to me, there's no such thing as, like people say, civil aggression. There's no civil aggression.
Okay.
There's aggression and there's no aggression. That's it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you can have a dog bite a person in a bite suit aggressively because he wants to hurt the person. The suit is just there for the protection of the guy. Right? And the dog can bite a suit because the suit has become a replacement, a substitute prey item.
Which will be the motivation.
No, it's prey drive. They do bite a suit in prey drive.
Oh, okay.
Prey drive is not aggression.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Just like people, when they talk about doing prey in protection training, the only thing that is prey in protection training is the equipment. A man running away is not ever prey. I've not seen it ever.
Okay.
And again, you try to train dogs to sort of focus on people as their target, right? So they discriminate good guys from bad guys. So the people that are the target demographic are different than the guys on the good side. And even with all that training doing that, there were still failures. Even the people that looked and dressed that way were running. The dogs would run around and not know what to do because they were not aggressive. The malice was missing. Right? And that's where people make a big mistake. They think that when they're doing a running decoy, civil to me just means he has no protective gear on. That's it.
Okay.
Right? No visible protective gear, I should say.
That's right.
Right? But just because he's running doesn't make him prey. Otherwise, like, all you would have to do is muzzle the dog and have a person in shorts run, and the dog would immediately whack him. He's already doing exactly that if you run away in a suit. Why wouldn't he do the same when you don't have a suit on? If running means prey.
Right.
The moving suit is prey. The moving guy has nothing to do with that. Right? So aggression is an emotional state. And if that emotional state is there, the dog's trying to bite through the suit to get to you. Then he's aggressive. If he's biting the suit, he may bite very, very hard physically, but he may not have any malice, which means if the suit is his reason for biting. And that's not what should be in a real world dog, let's say it that way. right?
Gotcha.
And that's where, the Malinois are very, very impressive biters. Very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things that people miss when they're prep training Malinois to be police dogs, because they mistake their physical enthusiasm and speed and hitting power with aggression and power against the man, and they don't work the aggression part enough, because they think that, like, there's so many trainers out there, every time a dog rebites or pushes into a grip, he's countering.
Mm-hmm.
He's not countering. He's either pushing into the bite because he's in his happy place, right? Or he's pushing into the bite because his stress has gone down and he's happy that his suit is there. So he pushes in for that reason.
Right.
Those are the main reasons for pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Aggressive pushing is a totally different ballgame. And people, every time I watch somebody work dogs in a suit, the dogs are showing nice grips, nice pushing, not every time, but too many times. I see
Right.
dogs that are pushing nice, but it's always, most of the time, it's a prey channel. They're going from a stress state or a defensive state into a happy, positive prey state.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do some positive, right? And,
Right.
And that's where the regrip comes from. If you watch nature, every predator, if he doesn't get a good hold of something, he's going to push in as soon as he has the opportunity to.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So there's the dog. So that push bite comes initially from prey. If you frustrate a dog's ability to push, you're frustrating him. If you make it easy, you're not frustrating him. Right? So then it's just prey biting. But if you frustrate him, he's going to, hopefully, if he has enough juice behind him, he will reach a point of frustration, aggression, which means he's getting pissed off that he cannot fulfill an urge.
Yes.
Something that's important to him. He can't reach it. The goal can't be reached.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And then he gets pissed off. And then he starts pushing because he's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's willing to bite for real.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Not forevermore, but at that moment in that state. And you just need to build on that. But the only thing that we need to do civil is that the dog visually and by scent identifies not only the equipment scent, but also the human scent.
Right.
The aggression, I would say, and I say this on every podcast, I would say that I do 90% of all my aggression work in a suit.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
You have to have the right techniques and the right decoy, but I do, like I said, I know when they're biting on the suit that they're going to whack somebody without anything on.
right. Oh, you're okay. So I'm curious to know, the common misconceptions of defensive drive
Mm-hmm.
and prey drive. They say we got prey dogs and defensive dogs. What did we get wrong when we think about this mostly?
Well, number one, defensive aggression is a man-made product that was bred for when breeding was clumsy and training knowledge was in the dark ages. Right? So we wanted dogs that would defend themselves aggressively when they were threatened, whether the threat was physical or whether it was perceived, didn't matter. The
Right.
dogs, but in nature, that really doesn't happen. In nature, defense drive, and it's the defense drive has the one overriding goal of everything, and that's survival. Right?
Yes,
Leaving
right.
that confrontation without harm coming to you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we bred dogs that would go into harm's way, head down, balls to the wall, and bite and hold on is completely against nature.
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
An African wild dog is a relative to ours.
Right.
In a confrontation with a lion, it's never going to latch onto the lion
No.
and have a deep, calm grip, because the lion would rip him apart.
Mm-hmm.
The wild dog may nip at the lion so that he distracts him and he has a better chance of fleeing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's his defense drive. And it's Conrad Lawrence in his book on aggression. You have that?
No. Who did you say?
Conrad Lawrence.
Oh no, I hadn't read that one. No.
Yeah, it doesn't have very much about dogs in it, so a lot of dog people don't read it. But it's
Okay.
it talks about social aggression, which is directed at the same species,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And we have what we have done with dogs and breeding. We have created something a little strange. Like I said, the defense drive in some dogs was always a needed element to get the dogs to do what we wanted them to do. The Malinois has an additional, and I don't know if I would call it a drive, but it's definitely a bit of an obsession or fixation. They love to bite.
Mm-hmm.
They just love to have something in their mouth. I don't know if you've ever been around Malinois. They just love having stuff in their mouth.
Yeah, they love to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a pacifier.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They almost de-stress when they have something in their mouth.
Yeah.
Like I've tested lots of dogs for purchase and stuff like that, and like you get the other breeds, like you get a Rottweiler or a Schnauzer or a German Shepherd that is a little wigged out by slippery floors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like nails out, maybe walks against the wall because he doesn't want to walk in the open floor and stuff like that. They won't take a ball, even though they have really good ball drive. Isn't a drive, it's prey drive with the ability to accept a substitute object. That's what toy drive is. It's prey drive with that. Because there are some dogs that don't, right? There's some hunting breeds that just will not take a substitute. Just won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't have a pulse, it didn't have a pulse, they don't want it.
Right.
So anyway, so let's say that the other breeds have pretty good ball drive, but I don't believe in a ball drive. It's not a separate drive, it's prey drive. Right? They won't take a ball.
Uh-huh.
As long as their nails are out and they're squishing against it.
Mm-hmm.
Once their nails relax and they get comfortable on that floor, they'll take a ball again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The Malinois, and I'm not talking Malinois that doesn't care about slippery floors. I'm talking about one that is doing the same thing the other breeds do. Claws out and slinking against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You give him a ball, his won't make sense and he's happy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not ball drive then. It's just putting something in his mouth so he can vent his anxiety and his worry and whatever. Right? That's all it is. So it's much easier to get those dogs to just bite. They don't even know why they're biting. They just bite. They bite plastic water bottles and they just amuse themselves with stuff that other dogs don't. They're also more destructive because of that reason.
Right.
You want something in their mouth so to rip everything apart. Everything becomes a toy for their mouth. And other dogs aren't like that.
Yeah.
Your breed isn't like that.
No.
So it's
medically in there to
correct, which means they in KMPV and the ring sports, they didn't have to do as much finesse work as we did in Schutzhund.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
In the early days in Schutzhund, it was very defensive. Then after Helmut Reiser's book, it became much more balanced prey and defense. And with that sort of revelation that was in Reiser's book, Prey Drive,
mm-hmm.
The need to breed those dogs that were contrary to nature started to fade away. Right? So to have that type of defense drive that just makes you bite and ask questions later wasn't necessary anymore to do the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So the selection for dogs that had that, even though it was unnaturally created, but the dogs that had that trait just wasn't used for breeding anymore. So that unnatural bite first, ask questions later type of defensive response started to fade away. Because you could breed, like back in the old days, you could breed a really aggressive female with a really defensive aggressive, with a defensive aggressive male, and you'd still only probably get about 2 or 3 that were also defensive aggressive.
Right.
Because it's unnatural. You have to understand that. Then the second thing came in, which was all dog sports have one thing in common that isn't so in police, which is what? It's a hold and bark, right?
Right.
So now you say a dog that is active defensive, which is a dog that goes forward when threatened, attacks and bites when threatened. That's an active defensive.
Right.
That dog is getting ready for a trial, a competition, and he trains on either helpers that are familiar to him or helpers that are not very threatening. Right?
Right.
And everything is solid. Programs dialed in. Scores have been good in the local club trials, etc. Right? Now he goes to a national, and the guy in the blind is just a hulking giant. Dog's never seen such a thing before, and he feels threatened. The active defensive dog, or the dog with the active defensive reaction, would immediately bite and attack. Trial is over.
Right.
Dismissed. Right?
Yeah.
How many breedings do you think that dog gets? Not as many as he should.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the dog that comes in and sees that giant, that is a strong passive dog, so he's confident, he just has a different expression of defense. So he barks, stands his ground, and when he sees a bigger threat, he reacts with a bigger bark. Right? And that's what people breed for, because that's required in the sport.
That's right. Yeah. So let me ask you this one.
KMPV actually cheats a little bit because they teach all the hold and barking from behind, which means the threatening thing is not as big of a factor in KMPV as it is like in ring sport or Schütze.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So with the Doberman, you see breeds like the Doberman, the Rottweiler have been used early in like World War II,
Yeah.
and things like that. And you just see the evolution of the Shepherd. I know the Shepherd is most versatile, is a very versatile dog, but as the breeds developed into in the military and police, is it because the tracking of when they start not using Doberman and
so the Doberman and Rottweilers are exceptionally good trackers.
they are okay, even better than the Shepherd.
The one advantage the German Shepherd has in tracking is that he's the only dog that can move at a very rapid speed with his nose touching the ground without him having to bend his back.
Okay.
Even the Rottweiler, even though he's shorter than the Doberman, he has to sort of hunch his back, which is uncomfortable. It's hard for them to do. So they typically track a little bit more superficially if you go too long, too fast, and the Doberman also has to, he looks like a camel when he tracks with his nose on the ground. That's really the only big difference. That's for smell wise, I don't think there's a difference. The Doberman, I've seen some really amazing tracking performances of Dobermans for sure.
Okay.
So
yeah,
my wife was a my second wife was a military police handler and instructor.
Okay.
Yeah, and she did obviously patrol dog, and she did bomb dogs, and then because of where she was stationed, is also where she's from. It's very, very far north. It's like 600 miles or something, 600 kilometers at least north of the Arctic Circle. So they have like 2 months of the year no light, and 2 months of the year no dark. So
right.
very far north. And very mountainous. So avalanches are, it's got the highest percentage of avalanches in the world
Yeah.
in the area where she lives. So all the military police dogs were that are stationed up there also have to do
Search and rescue.
they have to do avalanche search and rescue.
Yep.
Yeah, they also did some wilderness search and rescue, but avalanche was absolutely mandatory.
Right.
And there's a lot of civilian people that do it as well, but when you do it professionally, they do it for real, and it's their job. So she's had a bunch of fines, and she worked Dobermans exclusively herself.
Really?
Yeah, when she was going through the course to get into the canine, she had a German Shepherd that belonged to the military, and then she switched to Dobermans. Well, her own dogs because she had Dobermans at that time already.
Right.
And the deepest find that her Doberman had was just over 5 meters deep.
Wow.
She
Really?
found the guy. Yeah.
Ooh.
The Shepherds walked over it. Malinois walked over it. He's the one that indicated on it because he could smell him.
Right.
I mean, that dog had a bunch of fights. The same thing goes with and he was a good dog. He had real bites, environmentally super stable, helicopters and weird footing, floors, heights, everything. He was super stable and solid, nice, aggressive dog. He took a bit to be tolerant of all the soldiers around him because they always work in troops, right? So he had a suspicious personality because that's what the older variety of Dobermans, when they show up, had. But once he accepted the guys in green to be, on his side, he was real good with that. He also one avalanche course that I think she was teaching it. The mean average temperature for that week when they were there was minus 45 Celsius. Right? That's at that point it's right around even, so it's probably around minus 40, minus 50 Fahrenheit.
Wow. Okay.
That's cold.
Yeah.
Right? There were German Shepherds that were already cramping up and had to put back into the heated trailer when that dog was still working.
Really? Wow.
That's drive, determination, physical fitness, and the right temperament. You know what I mean? The no quit attitude. And that's just so hard to find because nobody pushes for it anymore.
Right.
So when it happens, it's almost a throwback. I told people many times, the Doberman to me is like a 1936 Ford or Chevy or whatever. Like you have to go to a lot of junkyards to find all the pieces that are missing. People look for this one great savior of a dog that, well, once we breed to him, everything's fixed. No, because he was a fluke himself.
Right.
Right. Like when you interviewed Ashley Sturza, right? She probably mentioned a dog named Eiko Landgraf.
Yes, she did actually. Yeah.
Right. He was a very, very influential dog in the last generation. Well, probably 4 or 5 generations of Dobermans. Very nice dog. I've worked with myself. Real good dog, super high level competition dog, and all that kind of stuff. But he was way better than his pedigree.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Right. So now, what are the offspring going to be? Some are going to be like him, but some are going to be like his ancestors, which weren't bad, but they were not as exceptional as him. There was a Schnauzer in Germany that was out of show lines, complete show line. That was a police dog. And lots of breeders went to him because the gene pool got smaller and smaller. So they wanted to breed to a dog that had a little bit of extra. So that dog had a little bit extra, but none of his ancestors did. Literally none of them had. So they did breeding with really solid working line females, and not much came of that. Very okay sport, but nothing extraordinary, nothing that went to big competition, and certainly no police.
Right.
So it happens, and that's like the Schnauzer had a great benefit. So did the working German Shepherd. from the reunification of Germany, right?
Right.
Because they had now access to East German blood to breed to. And the East German dogs had to be capable of doing police work.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because after the Second World War, blah, blah, it was communist, right? But overseen by the Russians, but it was under communist rule, which means you didn't have a lot of spending money for hobbies. Like most of the stuff you got were food stamps, gas stamps, everything was stamps. So this is for you to survive. Everybody got the same. If you worked harder, you didn't get more. You got the same. That's the communist system, which people don't understand. Right? So there wasn't really a lot of extra money for hobby breeders to keep record books and to hold events and so on and so forth. So they started the SDG, the section for service and utility dogs. It was a government regulated system.
Right.
And it was basically all the breeds that the government figured they could use as police and military dogs.
Right.
And if you didn't breed Dobermans that couldn't be used by the police, you didn't breed Dobermans anymore. The end. Right? Same with Shepherds and Schnauzers and Collies.
Right.
And so on. So the German Shepherds people were pretty welcoming of the East German blood and bred some of it into it and created really, really good working dogs again, where the West German side had gotten a little bit softer, weaker, right? But you brought a lot of power back in by bringing those East German dogs in. And the Schnauzer was the same. Like that's what Michelle's male Axe, who's been dead for 20 years. He still had like first and second generation East German dogs in his pedigree.
Wow, really?
So that's kind of when the Schnauzer was at his peak, which was in the early 90s. Like the Delaware State Police, for a while, had nothing but giant Schnauzers. The entire canine squad for Delaware, for the state police was Schnauzers.
Yep, that's what she was telling me. Yeah.
And even their Delaware State Police canine shirt had a Schnauzer head on.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So they were really, really good. That was imports that came from Europe, but the Schnauzer had a big resurgence. The Doberman breeders at the time, and those heyday breeders in the Doberman world started in around 1980, where people really started to make a concerted effort to breed Dobermans that could compete with all the breeds, right? At mixed breed competitions and stuff like that.
Right.
And the Doberman in the early days had a hard bite, quite hard, but they were not always full because they always been a little bit more defensive than some of the other breeds, right? They were very shaky and thrashy, and they growled a lot. and that was not desirable because that would cost points. I mean, the German Shepherd comes from herding dogs, and the European herding dogs, not like border collies. Right. So the way they're really more tending dogs than herding dogs. So in Germany, especially late 1800s, early 1900s, the sheep herders were not really landowners. Most of them were nomadic, and they moved around Germany with their sheep for grazing. But they couldn't go on the fields that were growing for hay, and they certainly couldn't go on fields that were in crop. So they could use all the fallow fields, right? And basically the field that was not in crop for that year to give it a rest, right? So the sheep were able to graze on that, and The added benefit, of course, was fertilizer. And the only thing that the shepherd was responsible for, that those sheep don't stray and go onto the field right next to it, which was in crop. So the German shepherds would run up and down the sides to keep the sheep over. And
Right.
if the sheep did kind of make it across the line, the German shepherd would just grab a very, very full and calm mouthful of fleece and yank the sheep back over.
Right.
They
Okay.
didn't want shaking and thrashing
Right.
because that would hurt the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted calm and just do that job. That was before the German Shepherd was created. The German Shepherd's only called German Shepherd because it originates from German sheepdogs.
Mm-hmm.
From its design, from the start, it was supposed to be a police dog. Right? Von Stephanitz was a Rittmeister colonel or something like that.
Oh, really?
And,
Okay.
yeah, and he wanted a police dog, and he wanted to breed a police dog. That's why
Right.
the German Shepherd was created. But it was created from the dogs that were in the countryside with herding sheep, because those were the most, was either hunting dogs or sheep dogs that were real utility dogs in
Right.
those days, right? Because they
Right.
had to earn their keep that way. So that's where the German Shepherd comes from. So that calm, quiet grip has a genetic background where the Doberman, of course, the Rottweilers are talkers. If you've ever worked Rottweilers, like the Con and Corso, they
Mhm.
like to talk when they bite.
Right.
Yeah. Right? And a lot of shaking and thrashing. They come from dogs. I mean, the Rottweiler comes from Molossus as well, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Con and Corso, in which fighting and bringing down big game was a big part of their thing. So you want to have that. You want to have exactly that bite.
Right.
Right, so that was the Doberman, and then you have the Terrier and the Pinscher, which are frontal biters to catch varmint.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
Pinscher is a dog that's supposed to. It's the same as a Schnauzer, right?
Right.
That's why it's all one breed club over there. The Pinscher Schnauzer, they're supposed to catch rats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So they don't bite full and calm. They bite frontal and shake to try to kill the little thing. Right? So that's the origin of the Doberman. So genetically, it was never meant to have that calm grip.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And so when the breeders that started really with a real concentrated effort, it was in about 1980. Have you ever heard of a dog named Bingo Ellendonk?
No.
So super famous stud dog, very, very influential in the breed, used a lot for breeding. Super high scores in the Kürung. I think the first Doberman in history to score 300 points.
Mm.
So a very, very famous Doberman. And he was, once that dog started being used, some very, very good competitive Dobermans started coming out. By competitive, I mean competitive against other breeds as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And part of it is that there was the calm grip started to become a major selection criterion. The unfortunate downside was that the calm grip with the Doberman was kind of genetically tied to sort of a less intense grip.
Mm-hmm.
So the dogs that bite super, super calm also have the tendency to slide off the bite some. It's not necessarily that they're weak. They're just, I remember one dog, I worked him when I was in Germany because a friend of mine wanted to use him as a stud dog. He ended up winning I think he won the German championship at least once. And I think the world championship once too. And like that dog needed a ton of wind up to bite hard. If it's super calm and with enough craziness going on, he also bit hard. But without it, he just sort of clamped on, but there was no real oomph behind it.
Right.
And you have to say, the Doberman was a dog that reacted very quickly to things. Well, a fast, hard bite is a quick reaction response.
Mm-hmm.
A calm, steady grip is not quick and fast anything. It's just calm.
That's right. Yeah.
And because it's genetic, so they selected for genes to have that grip. But like I said, the connection between the calm grip and the slightly lazy grip are there. The slipping off and falling off, that came right in that movement as well. The dogs of old, they would get like two teeth, one upper jaw and one lower jaw on just anything, and they would hang on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
And,
So,
my wife's dog had a very hard bite,
uh-huh.
but it took a little bit of stabilizing for him not to be so thrashy and so vocal.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he did hard right from the start. I remember at a seminar, there were European show dogs, titled European show dogs there that were in the 90-pound range,
Mhm.
right? And that dog was there, was with me, and he was maybe 75, right?
Mhm.
Very muscular, stocky dog, and borderline made the height that's necessary to breed. And I had those 90-pounders in the suit, and I could barely feel that they were there. And I had nasty bruises from that little dog, right? Because he brought it. He brought intensity and malice, and I mean, he was an aggressive dog, so he brought a little extra. But that with that movement, it started to, like I said, the dogs became stable, they became calmer. They had, as people say, thicker nerve.
Mhm.
Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
No, I don't know what thicker nerves means.
It comes from Pavlov.
Give your dog the best start possible. We offer proven tools, products, and supplements backed by our real world experience and our passion for healthy dogs. Okay.
So Pavlov defined 4 higher nervous system types.
Okay.
There was the melancholic, the choleric, the sanguine, and the phlegmatic.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Those are all body fluids,
Uh-huh.
right? It's named after body fluids from Greek.
Okay.
And the ideal dog is the sanguine. It's like blood. And those are the dogs that arouse quick and relax quick.
Mm,
Right?
sanguine. Yeah.
And then the choleric is the dog that reacts super fast, gets aroused extremely quick, and has a hard time calming down.
Right.
Right? The melancholic is not really a working type. It's just, well, like melancholy, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what it means. So the dogs are just down here.
Yeah.
Just depressed little creatures.
Right.
And then there's the phlegmatic, and the phlegmatic is named after phlegm. Right? When you cough up phlegm,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
it's much, much thicker than blood, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Right. So that's the phlegmatic dog type.
It's gonna
So,
be
and because phlegm is thicker than blood, that's thicker nerve. And choler, that's bile. Right? Bile is thinner than blood.
That's right, yeah.
So that's a thin nerve dog by our description.
Right.
And the sanguine is the stable dog, and the phlegmatic is the dog that takes a lot to arouse.
Oh, okay. Golly. Okay. You dropping some new education on me today.
Yeah. So, but that's where that terminology comes from. It's just, so instead of saying thick nerve, that you could say a phlegmatic dog, and that's what's kind of cool about the East German Kuro, because they described everything with numbers, right? So they had 4 numbers before a slash, and then 2 numbers, and the 4 numbers before the slash described overall size and appearance, coat type, and things like that. And then you had other anatomical things. And then the 4th number was temperament. The number 5 was sanguine, perfect. The number 4 was choleric, acceptable, but not exactly ideal. And then you had 6, and that was phlegmatic. And those dogs were also acceptable, but just also not exactly perfect, because it took a little too much to arouse, and they chilled out too quick, and it took too much to get them really excited to where you want them.
Gotcha.
So anything under the number 4 was not really a dog that was used for breeding, because they went to the even lower than choleric type, right? And then the numbers after the slash were just sharpness, which was, I think it was really judged just by the speed of pursuit and the power of impact in the bite.
Mm-hmm.
And then hardness, which was how their currently had a stick hit before the bite, before contact, right? So how the dog went through that determined in their eyes the hardness. It wasn't a perfect system, but I loved the descriptiveness of it.
Right. Makes
Because
sense.
it told you a lot about what the dogs were. Like that dog that I had that I said was socially aggressive, he came out of a male that had all 5s. It was all perfect, right? So, and his mother was 4 5s, and then I think a 3 and a 4 after the slash. So pretty good working female, but Anyway, again, to get back to the Doberman, we that movement in the 80s, of course, now overlapped 89, which was the fall of the wall and the reunification of Germany. So when those dogs from those breeders started to really make a big impression on the working Doberman scene, they didn't want the East German dogs, because the East German dogs were a little bit more like the Dobermans of old. Quicker to react, more suspicious, harder bite, but not always full and calm, and nervy sounding because they growled while they were on the bite. And so they didn't want that in there. As a result, they kind of missed the boat on that. So even though the dogs are good, solid working dogs, they miss a little bit of that pepper that makes the Doberman for working. Dobermans are still incredible family companions, and we have to, unless you're working a dog on the street where you're with them 4 or 5 nights a week, how he used to go for walks with, and how he's around the house and with the family is a much, much bigger priority than how badly he messes up a bad guy.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
and that's the priority was winning trophies and selling puppies and getting stud fees. The police dog disappears because it's owned by the police. The police in Germany, at least, they can at least use their dogs for breeding, but they're very, very selective as to who they breed to. Right?
Yes. So how often do you see, especially in 2026, a really good working Doberman stud in America? It's kind of hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm not as
into it.
No, I'm not as out in the public. I'm not doing nearly as much sport as I once did.
Right.
Like in the 90s, into the early 2000s, I traveled all over the world just to do seminars. So I saw a ton of dogs. Worked a ton of dogs too. I saw a lot of dogs and worked a lot of dogs in Germany when I grew up too, but way, way, way more once my name got out there and I started doing seminars. That's where my articles came from. That's where some of my thought processes came from. That in the as it got to 2005, I did more police than sport. From 2006 on, I started to be reasonably or relatively sought after in the special operations world.
Yeah.
And with that, you kind of disappear. Like most of the trainers that are big trainers on the internet now, if they're as old as my son, they're old. And that's like my son's 38 now, but that's an advanced age now for trainers. A lot of the guys, there's a lot of people that do seminars that are in their low 20s.
That's true. Yeah, it's the
And
internet changed things. The internet changed things.
yeah, absolutely.
The information a little more. People, it's
Yeah, but you can't learn things that fast. Dog training especially is like, look, the internet is out there, right?
yes, sir. Mhm.
The doctor still can't practice, yeah, until he's about 30 or 32.
Yeah, you gotta put your hands on it.
You
Yeah.
got to do it. You got to do it a lot, and you got to study and do it, and study and do it.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people whose name nobody knows only because they market themselves well on the internet.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
When I started doing this, and it became a default for me. Like I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Yeah, you did go to veterinarian school, right? Or
Early
workforce.
part, I did. Yeah, I did the pre-veterinary stuff,
Yeah, you sure
and then
did.
at that time I lived in Canada, and there was only 2 vet schools,
Uh-huh.
so the waiting lists were long.
Yeah, yeah. You've been deep in dogs your entire life, at least your adult life. I know that much.
I got my first dog as a confirmation present, 76.
Wow. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now it's 26.
Yeah. You was 26 then, so 76.
No, it's 26 now. I was 12 then.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, golly, because I was born in 78.
Yeah.
Yeah.
78 is when I titled my first dog.
Yeah. So
A
yeah,
Great Dane.
yeah. That's almost 50 years ago.
It's exactly 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
78, 76 when it started was 50
Oh, okay.
years.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So I had you on here a while. I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up, but I do want to end on some.
We didn't talk nearly as much about Dobermans as I thought we would.
But it kind of falls in line, the working dog and things like that. My audience is gonna eat it up. But the police dog, I hear a term nowadays or a description of a dog called a bull herder. But to us, that wouldn't be technically a new dog or a new type of dog when you talk about the old K and VP dogs, right?
It's really nothing more. There's some bull breeds there's certain bull breeds that KMPV people are allowed to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The KMPV has very strict breed restrictions.
Okay.
Certain breeds is like you can't ever do it with a cunning horse.
Right.
It specifically says you can't, right? Same with a pit bull and stuff like that. But a bull terrier, like the one with a cone-shaped nose,
right?
Mm-hmm. They're allowed. Mm-hmm. So you see a lot of people that will admit and acknowledge that somewhere along the line, the bull terrier was in the woodpile. Mm-hmm. Right? By the way, some dogs are shaped, you'd swear there was a pit bull in it. Nobody will acknowledge that because every dog from then on would be an illegitimate certificate holder.
Mm.
Because that breed's not allowed, or any mix thereof, right? Was it ever put in there? The KMPV breeding was always done for function. So you want a certain size and structure physically to do the job, springiness and hitting power and biting power and stuff like that. And sometimes some lines, they get a little slight, they get a little thinner, they get a little less muscular, they look more like marathon runners than they do sprinters. Mm-hmm. Right? So the dogs that bring muscle and broad heads and big shoulders are bull breeds. Mm-hmm. So those are thrown in there, and that's what the bull breeds bring now a little bit. The down, again, depending on what the bulldogs were and what the lineage is, they come with proclivities that are sometimes a hindrance. Mm-hmm. Right? Like one is reputation. If a bitten suspect, injured suspect, sues for excessive use of force, and you walk into court with a dog that looks more like pit bull than shepherd, the public perception is that dog is a dangerous dog to society and to people. And by default, the force that dog is able to apply compared to a Malinois must be excessive.
Right.
That's one big strike against them. Again, depending on the lineage, some of the dogs are dog aggressive. Some bull breeds are dog aggressive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They just are.
Yeah.
And that makes it very hard when you have to do a track in an area where they have to go past houses and yards and places where other dogs are.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
if you're tracking past a yard where a dog is charging the fence, barking at you, that's hard to do.
Mhm.
A dog that doesn't give a shit about other dogs is not going to care. But a dog that's prone to being aggressive with dog fighting genetically might be distracted by that and have a hard time ignoring that kind of stuff. Things like that.
Right.
There's not enough. It's not a standardized breed, which means they don't all breed true to size and anatomy or temperament. They don't have a design temperament because there are people out there that use bull herders for hog catching and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And as long as that sort of wide spectrum of what the dogs are used for exists, you're not going to create conformity. It's the same in your breed. I've said that to every Connie Corso owner that I've worked with. The same with Presa Canario.
Yeah. New breeds, lot of diversity in there.
Yeah, but you don't want diversity in the goal. You want to have a specific goal.
Right.
And if you promote animal aggression, the dog is very distractible by animal sense and by animal sight and so on and so forth. It's counterproductive for a dog that's supposed to do shoots under a police whip.
That's right.
Right? If you promote fighting, and there are people in your breed that do that,
Mhm.
The same thing goes with the defensiveness. People like that because they think the dog is protective. The dog's not protective. The dog has a low threshold for defense, so he sees a threat where there may not be a threat, and they go off very quickly, right?
Mhm.
They overreact to things that are just not worth reacting to, right?
Mhm. That's
And
right.
as a result, people don't want to hear this, but a lot of the dogs that look like they're going to kill you, if they don't kill you in the first 5 seconds, they're done.
That's right. Yeah.
Because if a dog is scared of you, and people also don't want to hear that, the trigger stimulus for defense, whether it's active or avoidance, is always fear. Animals don't defend themselves unless they're afraid something bad will happen.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That's nature. That's just the way it is.
Mhm.
So if a dog is already afraid when you're 30 yards away, and that's his primary motivation for going at you.
Mhm.
If you're not gone and he still feels afraid when he's on the bite, and then the guy mounts a counterattack, the fear even goes up. And there comes a point, because it's defense drive is a self-preservation based drive,
Mhm.
that kind of cumulative increase in worry that things are going to go bad and I'm going to die here makes them break down because they just don't want to die. No animal wants to die. There
Right.
has to be a point where the animal goes, oh, I thought this was bad. I'm okay again. This is really bad. The guy just hit me. Oh, I'm okay again. And that's not stabilized in the course. I've seen some on video.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've worked some too that were okay with some basic drives and stick hits and stuff like that.
Right.
But what we do in the combat dog world, they would never manage that.
Right.
Aside from the fact that their size is not useful for us, but they could never withstand the stuff that we throw at them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I think it's self-limiting. It's because the people can't get together as to what the purpose of the dog should be. I love pit bulls. I think they're awesome little dogs, super affectionate, very, very. They're just nice little dogs. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of people out there that still breed them for fighting.
Mhm.
And there's other people that breed them for like protection of in bad neighborhoods.
Right.
And because the pit bull is naturally not aggressive towards humans and not suspicious, you have to sort of either breed a dog that, you have to breed choleric dogs, thin and nerve dogs, and that's going to sooner or later go bad. Or you have to torment them to get them to fear humans so that they will react. Yeah. And that's bad for the breed.
Yeah,
if the breed was standardized with a common goal, dogfighting can no longer be the goal because it's against the law.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
it's so what is the goal?
Yeah,
if you want it to become a hunting dog,
right,
then that's the thing. And while the occasional German Shorthair Pointer can do Schutzhund, nobody would consider. I've not seen one that, and I've seen some German Shorthairs that did good Schutzhund, poodles too. But I've never seen one that would go into the world that I work in. Never. Right.
Yeah, I have had trainers, a couple of them come on my podcast and say they can almost like manipulate. If they get a pit bull early enough in his life, young enough, they can manipulate his genetic mind. I'm talking about a game dog.
Yeah.
I had a couple dudes say I've turned them to drug dogs. I mean, they say if you can do things to, but
the thing is, you have to do that with training, which means it won't pass on genetically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And that's unless there's a concerted effort to change the genetics. So those other sort of proclivities of that breed start going away. That's always going to come up in rear ugly head. Look, there's a lot of people out there that do protection training and to do real stuff that looks a lot more real than sport. But they do it with dogs that never get to go in a world where they have to prove it or can prove it.
That's true.
And that's the downside. Like I train dogs and they get called upon to prove what we train them to do. I train dogs that are certified police dogs. That doesn't mean shit if he doesn't bite the guy on the street. Certifications are easy to come by. Most average Schutzhund dogs will pass a police certification.
Yeah.
Right. So it's if you say that your dogs do real life work, then they have to sooner or later do real life work in order to say that that's what they are, either as a breed or as the trainer. If the proof is in the pudding.
Yes, sir.
And I can say I breed police Dobermans. Well, if I don't put any Dobermans in the police work, and like I said, the Schnauzers after my D litter, I didn't see any dogs in there that would make it as police dogs. And then I did another, the D litter was good. The E litter was a single female, which was a great sport dog, but a little bit had some holes. She had some holes with noise. Gunfire was okay, but she just had real issues with the sound of a turbo in a semi truck.
Right.
Anything that whine that would just, where's that coming from? What is it? Even helos, high up, no problem, close by. It was okay until the turbo kicked in, and then she just wanted to head for the hills.
Yeah.
Nothing else. She did good. I lost her fairly young, but that was E. That was a single puppy, and then F. I didn't see a single puppy in the F litter that would make it as a police dog.
Oh yeah.
And I worked quite a lot of them until the people all started moving away and so on. But it's just they did sport, but they just weren't what I was trying to create anymore. I think in every litter that you try to create a police dog, you're going to have maybe one or two police dogs, but you have probably two or three decent sport dogs. But if you breed for sport, you have two or three sport dogs and the rest are pets.
Yeah.
And some are not even good pets because they're not stable or something like that, right? So it becomes that if the goal isn't high enough, if people think working for a Doberman is hurting instinct tests, they're barking up the wrong tree. They really are, right? A Doberman is a predator. He should want to kill sheep. And if you can deter him enough so that he just sort of tamely runs near sheep, that's not what I want in a Doberman. The fact that he wants to hunt and chase and you can see it in the sheep. Like even the Dobermans that are a little bit milder, you go to these herding instinct tests, they put an Aussie Shepherd or a Border Collie or a Sheltie in the ring. The sheep are calm. These are trained sheep anyways. They know exactly what to do.
Right.
The sheep go, okay. Then you come in with a Doberman, the sheep go,
Yeah,
oh
you
my
just start looking. Yeah.
what's going to happen to us?
Right.
That dog's not going to stop. He's going to do things to us. And it's innate, but I don't want to, look, Europe is going down the tube with their working dogs with that stupid tool patterns. Just because there's some people that abuse tools doesn't mean the tools are bad.
But aren't they still pretty much using the tools?
They're not. Well, if they do it in secret.
Secret, okay, yeah.
And if they get caught, they get charged quite a bit. And they probably also get things like you may never own a dog again.
Right. Because I think I was reading an article about the tools wasn't really a decline on sales there. I'm not sure.
That's the other stupid thing. Like you can buy a pinch collar or an e-collar, but you can't use it. The German law is even more. Yeah. The German law is even more restrictive because it says that you cannot inflict discomfort on a dog during training. And some judges consider discomfort if you yell at them and make them feel bad.
Oh, wow.
So what kind of dogs are still going to be able to do performance sport with biting?
We having a lot of issues politically, socially with the change of softening culture, softening dogs. It's a political thing. It's affecting a lot of things.
It's a lack of education too, because I've invited that Zach George guy that I'm sure you're aware of. You never see him train a dog, but he seems to be a dog trainer. Like the guy has 3 million followers.
Yeah, he got a big following.
It's insane. There's no real education on any of this. Like it's, when behaviorists that have a PhD come out and almost all their posts are advocating the use of aversives. Well, there's never any talk about the positive side. The fact that good training means that you shouldn't use aversives until the dog has learned a bunch of stuff and you use an aversive only to insist on that he does something that gets him rewarded. That's a whole different slant of saying train with aversives. Like I don't train with aversives, but I use them when the dog is trained. But the amount of aversives that I use depend on the level of teaching that has taken place. And nobody should, the first argument should always be nobody uses, or I don't use aversives in teaching. I use it only when the teaching is done, and when the solidification of the teaching is taking place, where what we then call the whole kit and caboodle we call training. I reject negative reinforcement. I know it works. I know how to do it because I grew up when most of the nasty things were invented.
Oh yeah,
like electric mats, electric sleeves, electric sticks, electric.
You don't see it all. I know.
Yeah, and when I first started, they still used as a source of electricity. They still used the generators in the military field telephones to create electricity. You know how precise that is. You just sit there and turn a crank, right, until it's high enough to make the dog yodel.
Yeah.
It's not nice, and it shouldn't be done that way. And the thing is, like I said, there is probably nothing that you can teach with negative reinforcement that you can't teach with positive reinforcement. Teach them what it is. Teach them how to do it, right?
Teach them what it is, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't mind using an aversive later when the dog knows what to do and knows what a consequence is and that the consequence will come. And in negative reinforcement only works if the dog bows.
Right.
And I don't care if the dog bows to low stim or extremely high stim. He's bowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to teach my dogs to bow. And I find it wrong. Like I'm not a person that likes to bow for anything. I just hate that shit. Right.
Yeah.
So like what can we teach?
They're cowering down and me, you know what I mean?
So we go like what about a dog that won't retrieve?
Mm-hmm.
Get another dog because it's a sport. It's a hobby. And you're not allowed to do cruel things to a dog for your amusement.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
A dog that doesn't want to bite. I've had dogs that just were lame asses. They just didn't want to bite.
Yeah.
They didn't respond well to prey. They didn't respond well to any kind of defensive work. Okay. Keep trying. That's the only thing I have. But I'm not going to torture them.
Yeah. It's better. It's better to have a dog that wants to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get a dog that wants to do it. And I've had dogs that didn't do great as youngsters, and then they all of a sudden blossomed and they did fine. Mm-hmm. And maybe we haven't found the right button yet. You know, frustration definitely helps. I have one right now. I love the dog dearly. He's an awesome dog, but he bites equipment pretty good, but not on the man. Mm-hmm. He's got a really weird inhibition that way. But, you know, starting to use the infliction of pain and torturing the dog until he has no other choice but to bite into something, that's not my style.
Right, right.
And there's going to be another dog in my future, maybe, that is going to do it, like most of my dogs did.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And I think we have to be humane, and I think we have to be ethical.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if you've heard the word before. There's a word that I grew up with, and that still rings in my ears. The word is artgerecht, and that means art means species, and the word gerecht means just and fair.
Yeah.
Right. And there's like if you keep your dog in squalor, that's not artgerecht. You can keep him in a crate, but you can't keep him in a dirty crate or a shitty crate, something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have to be fair to that species. They're not us. We can't ask them questions. Hey, do you want to do this? Forcing a dog to do something he doesn't want to do is not right. And if he responds well to sort of the negative reinforcement training, I would bet 99.9% that he would have done it positive.
Right. Exactly.
And that's it, you know. So why do we have to do the mean stuff? So
yeah.
All right. Do you have any other questions to wrap it up?
No, I think that's it. I really appreciate you coming. I'm knowing this comment section going up. I had questions, but you were answering them. So I was going to ask you, but you was knocking them out unaware. So yeah. That's good.
Well, it was an enjoyable conversation. I appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. And where can people find you?
RavanaCanineServices.com is the website.
Yes, sir.
I know you said you had trouble with it today, but I don't know whether it's just a server or something went down. But that's the easiest way. On Facebook, you can find me under Armin Winkler, or also Ravana Canine Services. I don't do so many seminars anymore, but I still do internet stuff, Zoom calls, Zoom consultations and stuff to help people with training matters, or advice on stuff, like whatever.
Okay.
I've had the good fortune to gain the knowledge that I gained. I studied a lot, so that was on me, but I also, can't do a seminar when people don't bring me dogs.
That's right.
So to accumulate a huge research field of dogs that I've been able to work with is because people trusted me and let me do the work with the dogs, and I appreciate that. And I want to share that so that people don't have to go through everything I had to go through and make the mistakes that I arguably made. You can't do it for this long and not make mistakes. So they don't have to duplicate the mistakes. They can just learn from mine. So I like to share knowledge and teach. So.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Armin, I appreciate you. And you have a good one. Come back anytime.
Yeah. Well, just you let me know when you need a slot to be filled. So.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks.
You take care. Yeah, bye.
You too. Bye.
Step into the realm of canine wisdom with our podcast, NWA Corsos, where we interview dog men and women from around the globe. Discover their talents and insights on breeding, training, nutrition, and the rich history of dogs. Tune in to the most underrated yet influential dog podcast on social media. Your journey into the dog world starts here.